What's up, everyone? DKRACK here. So, hey, what's up, guys? I'm DKRACK. I hope you guys remember who I am. It's been about 3 weeks. It's been about 2.5, 3 weeks since I've uploaded a new reaction here on my channel, and I apologize, guys. I've just been busy with different stuff, and I hope you all understand. But there's like 4 new Mr. Nightmare videos that I have not reacted to. I'm going to react to one of them here. 8 creepy unexplained phone calls. I know there's some kid behind a camera vlogs, some Nuke's top 5 videos. So let me know down below in the comments right now. Right now, before I start reacting to this video, smash the like button and comment down below what you want me to react to next, because I always need ideas. So what this is, 8 creepy unexplained phone calls by Mr. Nightmare. Like always, guys, I'll link the original video down below. But yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. 8 creepy unexplained phone calls. All right, guys, here we go.
We are sorry. The number you have dialed has been...
In 2015, student Michael Andrews of the University of Southern California had left his dorm room with his roommate Steve to go to a frat party off campus. On the way to the party, Steve had realized he left his phone in the dorm room, but already in the Uber to the party, they didn't bother going back to the dorm. At some point during the party, while the two friends had separated to mingle with other friends and acquaintances, Michael's phone began to ring. It was from Steve's number.
What?
He picked up and heard Steve's voice on the other end, covered by a mask of static. Even in the loud party, he could distinguish the voice of his roommate saying, "Come back to the room." Then the call ended.
What the hell?
With that, Michael left the party and Ubered back to the campus dorms, trying to call Steve back and text him, but he wasn't getting any responses. When Michael got back to the dorm room, he didn't find Steve inside. Strangely though, he did find Steve's phone sitting on his bed. Upon checking the notifications on the screen, Michael saw the notifications of all his texts and calls on the screen. It wasn't until an hour later that Steve returned to the room looking for Michael after hearing that he left.
It wasn't
Steve. This was when he told Michael that he never called him and that...
Yeah, how could it be Steve's voice saying, "Come back to the dorm" or "Come back to the room"? Steve left his phone at the dorm, but then his friend got a call from Steve's phone and it sounded like Steve's voice? This has got me all kind of confused.
that he never had his phone.
What
made this even stranger was that Steve's phone had no record of making a call to Michael, yet Michael's phone had a record of receiving a call and having a 15-second conversation. The phone company wasn't able to trace a call from Steve inside, and nobody was found hiding in their dorm room or anything like that.
That's some paranormal.
In 1970, 25-year-old Donna Lass worked as a nurse at the first aid station of a casino in South Lake Tahoe, California. One day, Donna's boss and landlord both received calls from an unidentified man who claimed she was dealing with an illness in the family and would be out of town for a while. Donna's boss became suspicious, so he contacted her mother, who confirmed that story was a lie. Donna's car was found parked outside her apartment, but there was no trace of her anywhere. The last sign of her was an entry she'd made in her logbook near the end of her final shift.
She disappeared?
Looked unfinished, as if someone had possibly interrupted her. No one could figure out Donna's whereabouts or the identity of the caller until the San Francisco Chronicle received a mysterious postcard 6 months later. The postcard was the latest in a long line of cryptic messages from the Zodiac Killer. The killer made no direct reference to Donna, but hinted that he had murdered and buried his 12th victim in Lake Tahoe. It didn't take a detective to make the connection between this note and Donna's disappearance. The postcard provided a lot of possible clues regarding Donna's whereabouts, but a search of the area turned up nothing. Something complicates a connection between the Zodiac Killer and Donna, though, and that's the fact that the Zodiac Killer was not known for hiding bodies. So if he wasn't responsible, the whereabouts of Donna's body and who tried to hide her disappearance remain a mystery.
It could have been a copycat killer, not the actual Zodiac Killer, but someone who was trying to take credit, like, "Hey, I'm the Zodiac. I killed someone and put their body in Lake Tahoe, but it was not the real Zodiac killer. That's possible too.
In 2008, 19-year-old college student Brendan Swanson was driving home after a night out when he crashed into a ditch on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota. Knowing how dangerous of a predicament he found himself in, and probably aware he was in a cliche horror movie setup, he called his parents and asked for a ride. However, his parents had trouble finding him, and when arriving to the location he provided, they couldn't find his car, so they got back on the phone for over 45 minutes trying to find him as he described his location.
Oh my God.
Swanson claimed he could see lights from a nearby town and was heading in that direction, but things took a turn for the worse when he suddenly yelled, "Oh shit." Before his father could even scold his son for using that language on the phone with him, the call cut off, and that's the last anyone ever heard from Brendan. Even with hundreds of volunteers and 30 dogs searching, only his car was found. So what happened to him? What did he see that made him go, "Oh shit," before abruptly hanging up?
I know, guys. Alien
Years
abduction.
back, a Reddit user named Stacy Kolupski shared the experience of her brother who would get a call on his cell phone around 2 to 3 a.m. every night.
Every
He would
night?
answer it every time
What?
to hear this hellish sounding noise that he described as a static mixed with screams. He changed his cell phone number after a month of this, and
Okay, I'm sorry, but that would be creepy if that happened one time on your phone. They said every single night he got the same call, and if he answered, it was like static and screaming noises. Yeah, bro. I think you might have got a cursed phone number. But like they said, it's a good thing you got a new phone number. Oh my gosh.
it stopped. Then after a week or so, it began again.
What?
With the exact same noise at the exact same time. Finally, one day he decided to backdial the call, and an old man picked up who had no idea what he was talking about. If he didn't answer, it would call a few more times, but no messages were ever left. He decided to say screw it and ended his contract with his phone company, switched to a new one, and then got another new number.
He's going to get the call
exactly
again.
What he feared had
No.
happened. The screaming static calls continued after a short delay.
Well, I take that back, guys. Apparently it was not the phone number. This guy's just got either really bad luck or someone cursed his ass.
By this time, he was terrified every night.
Yo.
Unsure why this was happening, he backdialed the number again and got a different person, who also had no idea what he was talking about. Around this time, Stacy's brother lost his job and his phone, which was now disconnected, meaning the calls of course stopped. One day, Stacy's mom asked her to listen to a weird message she got on her home phone.
No.
It was the static screaming.
No.
They showed her brother, and he of course freaked out. He backdialed the number again, and it said the number was disconnected this time. They never heard from it again after that.
That was
weird. In the
weird.
1970s, Bashir Kaushaki opened a successful restaurant in Washington, D.C., and for over a decade enjoyed nothing but success. But in 1983, he became the target of a non-stop stream of threatening phone calls that came several times a day, every day.
What?
Usually harassment similar to this will eventually stop on its own as the harassers get bored and move on to something else.
Just like trolls.
Kaushaki was harassed by these phone calls for nearly a decade. The caller would eventually be
10
nicknamed
years?
L'Enfant, which is French for the child. The nickname was presumed to reference the caller's eventual imitation of a little girl. Anyone associated with Kaushaki in any way was a target, from his pregnant spouse to his restaurant employees. The harassment was one day elevated from simply phone calls
What's
to
the reason
physical
for
harassment
this?
when the Star of David was scratched all over Kaushaki's Mercedes. When he traveled to Philadelphia to visit his sister, things got so bad that he suffered a mental breakdown and committed himself to a psychiatric ward. But even still, the calls continued to his restaurant. The FBI eventually placed a trace on the phone to confirm whether L'Enfant was a delusion or not, and what they found out put how bad this was into perspective. The calls were coming from different payphones at such a high frequency that it would have been impossible for only one person to have been making these calls.
Wow.
L'Enfant Callers was a plot orchestrated by multiple people for the express purpose of harassing Kaushaki to insanity, but it was
Why? Seriously, this group of people just going around a payphone so they can't track the call and just calling and harassing this poor man and his family? Get a life. Like, seriously.
never figured out what the motive was.
Why? There wasn't even a motive. It's not like this guy did something to this group of people and now they're angry and harassing him. There's no motive. Wow, that is so freaking weird.
All
That
the way
is
back
weird.
in 1931, there was a man named William Wallace who worked as a London insurance agent and had an obsession for playing chess in his free time. One night, Wallace showed up for a chess club meeting and found a telephone message waiting for him. The sender wanted to meet at 7:30 the following night so he could purchase an insurance policy. The next night, Wallace traveled across town and discovered that the address provided didn't exist. So he headed back home, most likely convinced that he was the victim of some dumb prank. But when he got home, he found his wife Julia's body had been beaten to death in the living room. The mysterious caller was the obvious suspect.
Is that the actual photo? Whoa. Yeah, this looks like an old 1920s, 1930s home. There's an older woman here and looks like almost like a pool of blood by her head. What the hell?
But after an investigation, police determined that the caller was actually William Wallace himself. Authorities argued that Wallace had left the message to fabricate an alibi. He killed his wife, hopped in a streetcar, drove around for an hour, then went home to supposedly discover his wife's body. This argument was invalid as it was completely impossible for Wallace to have committed the murder, given he wouldn't have been able to return quick enough. The jury found Wallace guilty of the murder anyway, but luckily the Court of Criminal Appeal immediately overturned the conviction. The killer was never identified, but the prime suspect was a former employee of Wallace.
Oh, wait, so it wasn't the husband, William. Oh, okay. That's a little confusing.
His insurance firm, who allegedly asked his wife to provide him a fake alibi and was seen wearing bloody gloves and hosing down his car on the night of the murder.
What?
Jason Alexander would frequently get calls to his house for a woman named Tanya. It didn't seem like a big deal since Tanya had the same last name as Jason's family and it was a common name from where they were from. When Jason and his family moved across the city and phone books gradually stopped being the go-to way of finding somebody's number, the calls for Tanya gradually stopped, and after a while, the Alexander family forgot about the Tanya woman. It was about 4 years later that she popped up in their lives again. Jason was driving home from work one afternoon and was greeted by a pretty grisly car wreck at the turn to his house. 2 cars had collided, and one had wrapped itself around the signage pole that had the house numbers and directions on it, one of which was his house number. Several days later, he got a call from the police. They asked if Tanya was at his residence. Her car was found wrapped around a pole down the street from Jason's house. She was nowhere to be found at the accident site.
What the hell?
He had never heard anything about her ever again. In 1965,
that's freaking weird.
The young woman you're looking at, named Judith Hyams, disappeared from her hometown of Coral Gables, Florida. Everyone feared the worst when her abandoned...
Wait, what was the year? Did it say 1965?
...car was found. Judith Hyams. In 1965,
yep, 65.
The young woman you're looking at, named Judith Hyams, disappeared from her hometown of Coral Gables, Florida. Everyone feared the worst when her abandoned car was found in Atlanta with blood in the backseat.
Atlanta?
Judith was pregnant and recently went through a divorce. She allegedly made arrangements to get an illegal abortion from a Hungarian doctor named George Hajdu.
Oh, what the hell?
He was charged with conspiring to perform the abortion, but skipped bail and fled the country. After this, the case was forgotten for a quarter century, until it was rejuvenated by a series of bizarre phone calls. In 1990, the Coral Gables police captain Chuck Smith received a message from an Omaha, Nebraska radio host claiming he had information about Judith's disappearance. Smith called the host back, but the host was completely confused. The host said he never made the call, and he knew nothing at all about Judith. Smith soon received another anonymous call claiming Judith was alive in Omaha. Smith knew nothing about the case, but he had recently traveled to Omaha to deliver a lecture at a police academy, and he started to wonder if this was a prank. Smith got a third anonymous call from someone who claimed to be an FBI informant who had recently spent time with Dr. Hajdu in Hungary. They even provided an old phone number for Hajdu that checked out. Smith was confused, and with such a baffling case, he took the story to the TV show Unsolved Mysteries. Days after the Judith Hyams episode
I watched that show.
Smith got an anonymous letter confirming what many people suspected all along. Judith died during an illegal abortion and wound up in a watery grave.
Oh
Well,
my
that's the logical
God.
solution. It doesn't account for all the strange calls. The callers and writer have not been identified, the doctor has not been found, and Judith's body was never recovered.
Dang, rest in peace to Judith. That's really sad. I mean, it's bad enough that she was trying to get an illegal abortion and then she dies from the procedure, or at least that's what they think happened, you know? Oh, God. But guys, this was 8 creepy, unexplained phone calls. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, make sure and smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new, leave a comment down below. Like I said, guys, let me know down below in the comments what you want me to react to next. And I do read the comments, so if you have something you want to say to me, have a question, whatever, just leave a comment down below. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Ass.